My name is David Plummer. In 2009, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. In this short documentary, I intend to highlight the plight of Parkinson's sufferers in Kenya. Little did I know making it would leave me shocked, exhausted, and withdrawn. It seems like paradise when you first get here, looking at this gorgeous sunrise and on the beach. But I've learned, having Parkinson's disease, this place could be hell sometimes. With this film, I'm hoping to change perception. I've never been one for championing raising awareness historically, because my thoughts are everyone knows what Parkinson's disease is. I just want to find a bloody cure. But where I've worked abroad, I'm fighting not only trying to find a cure, but trying to raise awareness. People don't even know what it is. I set off on my journey to meet sufferers and their families who had previously been identified by Dr. Natasha Forthergill-Misbah, a specialist on Parkinson's research in Kenya. I decided to come off my medication when meeting these sufferers because most of them had no access to medication or health care.
So when he first got sick, we didn't even know what the problem was ourselves.
He had problems in almost every system of the body. He had even developed tremors.
Nangu makamba ukala hii sababu ya nini? Sababu ya urefu. Ndo ugonjwa ule wakati ambao nilikuwa sijui ugonjwa huu ni ugonjwa gani.
And with the community around, well, the first thing they thought was that you're giving him a lot of stresses. The stress has brought this disease.
Gago nago pia nakuja mbirizwa mimi mchungaji mimi na kamba kuja kanisa ni kila siku. Hayo ndo utapata manufaa. Lakini kukona kwa pia sio manufaa kugusi. Mwanzo kabisa ili tukua tunapata dawa lakini hayafanyi kazi. Nilifikia kwamba hii ni nguvu za mapepo.
Kulingana na experience ile nimekuwa nayo kwa kazi ya Mungu, ona wakati mwingine hivyo spirit waziko
hao nao wanafanya kuwatia tu kujaribu, lakini they are not sure for what they are treated.
I took him to a doctor. He is the first person who diagnosed that there was something called Parkinson.
Even after being diagnosed and even taking the medication, Mom still felt like, no, we can just pray and this thing can end.
On my family, it really affected us. In fact, it really brought us down to almost zero because the drugs were very expensive and not easy to find.
For me, it has been a burden. I've been having a burden in my heart, a very big burden. Sometimes I do get emotional, but I don't want him to see it. Like sometimes I can feel like I want to cry, but can I just walk away? Because missing my dad has been my superhero.
You stay with a patient like that for a long time. He becomes part of you in life. And when he leaves you, there's a lot of great loneliness you'll suffer.
If he would just rest. Sometimes you think that, like, God, if you just can't help Dad, if the medication just can't help, then just let him rest.
I was introduced to a private healthcare doctor who only confirmed these stories.
In a private, you can see like 100 patients, like on average. In a public, you can see 2,000. So you might miss some diagnoses and some patients presenting with obvious symptoms. If you're not diagnosed correctly, you'll just be hopping around diagnosis, taking this medication for the wrong diagnosis. So many people, they'll give up. on the medication. Can they afford the medication? Can they afford to go and see the neurologist or the neurosurgeon? There is so many misbelief or trust in medicinal or herbal treatment, and also some way into witchcraft.
Anyone living with Parkinson's disease anywhere in the world knows what stigmatisation is. Stigmatisation is bad enough, but it can lead to persecution. And sometimes this persecution can take on extreme forms.
Most people don't know about Parkinson's. Most people don't know. Here, I mean, in the villages, they are not aware about the Parkinson's. They just still think it is something associated with evil spirits.
Initially, I thought maybe it's some witchcraft, because since it does not have a cure.
Some says it's a curse from their ancestor. If they see him, they say, that is a witchcraft. They run away.
People see it as a bad omen or something like that. They associate it with some evil, some spirits which are not there.
Since Dad is a pastor, he had a lot of pastor friends coming over. They would come, pray. When they were praying and then he starts shaking, they would see that those were the manifestation of demons. And they would just insist on casting those demons out of him.
Walifikiria ya kwamba mimi nimeleta nguvu za mapepo. Kwaona ni nguvu za mapepo, lakini haikuwa nguvu za mapepo. Ilikuwa ni ugonjwa wa Parkinson.
Even personally, I have an auntie who was telling me, you know what, that shaking, we can be treated. It can be treated by local medicines and all that.
They cut you in small bits in the skin. So, and then they put herbs in those areas that are being incised. If let's say you have tremors, they'll cut on the arm. They'll do several cuts and then put some medicine or herbals in those cuts.
Hawakuji tena. They just avoid him. They can transmit the disease to their body through shaking hands, maybe come into contact, maybe sitting close to him. So we are not seeing them again.
Then they were like blaming him. What have you done? Where have you put yourself? Are you in some cult or something?
You see, most of the elderly people, they are based in the rural areas. And most of them, they live alone. So if you see an old man or an old woman living alone with nothing, maybe the way she is, she's unkempt, nobody's looking after her. So the next thing, she would be branded a witch. They have gone to the extent of just killing the people.
There's a lot of old men that are being, because they suspected him that are witchcraft. The youth, they organize a group, and then they go to the old man. They say he's a witchcraft, and then they kill him.
The young people come and kill you if they are sure you are doing witchcraft.
There are 3 old men, just last month, they were killed because of that.
They see anything happening that they don't understand how it is happening and how it is started and how it is going. They come to a conclusion that one is bewitched. It is devilish powers that is working or has been thrown to him.
It's very bad because the mzee is struggling for his life, and yet someone is coming here to shortcut his life. That's no good.
I found myself withdrawing, hiding away after several days of malignant scrutiny. And the shocking trauma of what I was hearing began to take its toll on me. After such a roller coaster of medication and emotion, I hit a wall.
So I'm totally off meds now because, I don't know, I think we've been pushing hard pace to get this film. This is what it's like being off. Fucking hell. So I don't want to be sympathetic or self-indulgent. I just can't imagine how they live. They just rely on families or the goodwill of someone close to them with the threat of possibly people coming to kill them for being witches. And imagine that fear. They're just trying to exist, trying to stay alive. They don't even know what they've got. They've not even been told. Truly shame on anyone who stigmatizes and, let alone, persecutes them.
A major change of belief needs to be addressed. The rule of law needs to be enforced. Public awareness of all disabilities needs to be raised. And for heads of state to take this on board and end this brutality.
Lakini chakula ni ile ya tabu, na vile siendi kazi,
inanibidi maisha yangu niko hapo sasa, narudi chini.
ningepata chakula, ningesaidika na dawa.
First and foremost, people have got to get educated.
It's just a matter of awareness, education, information, and it can be managed.
I think it's beneficial to the patient to know that they are not alone, and you can reach out to someone suffering from the same ailment as you, and it's not something foreign, it's not something unknown. Right? There are support groups where people find more comfort sharing, and they get comfortable with their condition. They know and they understand what's going on with their system and their body. I think it's crucial to the long plan of the treatment and management of a patient.
It's a cliche, I think, but this week has certainly been a roller coaster. But I do think we have scratched beneath the surface of things that people aren't talking about. There's a distinct lack of medication here, or access to medication, and I think there's a distinct lack of awareness or total absence of knowledge of what this disease is. It's not witchcraft, it's not superstition, it's not cursed, it's just a disease. And these people have the basic right to be treated like normal human beings.
There are glimmers of hope as volunteer support groups begin to emerge in Kenya. Yet these support groups need support themselves, which must come from the government. Kenya, like any other country, is generally made up of good people. But evil happens when good people do nothing.